Now we will see the first important and simple case of a spring, say some 200 centimeter length, is cut at the topmost point, that is at A. As we have already seen, when we cut a spring like that, the point A will come down till the point C, and of course we assume that the compressed length of the spring is negligible when compared to this 100 centimeters. So it is almost the point A will reach C, and we also know that the center of gravity will move exactly according to the equation that we know already. That is V equals U plus AT. As we all know that U is the initial velocity, here it is 0, and therefore we can even replace that by 0, and also that A is the acceleration, here it is equal to G, and that means we can finally write it as V equals GT. And of course it is downwards. This is the velocity of the center of gravity of the spring. That center of gravity of the spring is always exactly at the middle of the instantaneous length of the spring. So the center of gravity will move with a velocity V equal to gt, where t is the time, g is the acceleration due to gravity. So this is for one spring cut at A. That means the point B, where the center of gravity is there, will move down with the velocity equal to gt, and of course the point C will not move at all till the point B almost reaches that particular point. Now here is another fundamental point that we have to understand. What about the point A, the cut end at the top? Its velocity is twice that of B, because if B, the midpoint, is moving at velocity gt, A is the other end which has to move at twice of that one, that is VA is equal to 2gt. Try to understand this particular point. When the midpoint is moving at gt, the other extreme end point has to move at twice that of the gt, so that the point P is always the midpoint. So case 2, we are now cutting the spring at the midpoint, that is mid length, 100 centimeters. The point B will become now B1 and B2. That means the lower half of the spring will fall down as usual, that we have seen already, but the speciality now is at the upper part of the spring. Look at this. If this system, or the center of gravity of the whole system, is to be falling down at the velocity V equals gt, but already one half of the spring is falling down at velocity V equals gt, also we are having one peculiar thing, that the point B will move as B1 upwards with the velocity. This particular thing is extremely important, and therefore we are having a place where in the upper portion of the spring, center of gravity of that portion is moving upwards, whereas the lower half of the spring is falling down as before. That brings our first question: will the combined center of gravity even now move down with the velocity V equals gt or not? This is one of the very important question to be discussed. Next we will have what is called as case 3, where we are cutting the spring simultaneously at the top and the middle, that is A and B. This picture will show you that it is separated at A and B. B becomes B1 and B2. A is a separate one. Since we are cutting it exactly at the midpoint, let us assume that the total weight of the spring was W, and therefore now the upper half of the spring is having W by 2 and lower half of the spring is having W by 2 weight. That means at B, W by 2, that is half of the weight of the spring, was acting. Now after this cut at B, for the upper spring, that force is not acting. Therefore B1 will move upwards, as we have already discussed, but at the same time A will move downwards. To maintain the fall of D, exactly as we have discussed earlier with V equals GT, now A is to move even faster. If we calculate, that comes to VA equals 2GT plus VB1, because the B1 is going upwards. To compensate that one, it is 2GT plus VB1. Therefore the question is how that part A, the point A, is moving faster than before, even though the force earlier was W and now it is just W by 2. So these two questions will be the starting point of the discussions, and if required, some more explanations will be given. So the discussion is there any error in the given explanation itself, or what is the logic of what is happening now?